Here between Dengler and DanV. Let's go ahead and get them started. If I can find my thing. There it is. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. On the left, we've got Dengler. On the right, we've got DanV. Dengler out of the United States of America. I've been there. I like it. It's very united. There are lots of states there. Dengler, of course, famous for the first ever perfect max out. That is a max out 999,999 plus points without any burns whatsoever. Just all Tetrises the entire way. Coming out of the US, seed 8, PB of 5.43 million, good for 13th on the leaderboard when last I checked. Has been in the Masters event semi-finals 2 times, including, I think, was it the prior 2 months? Is that right? Is that correct? My research staff? I don't know, but has been in the semis 2 times, including the previous 2. And in the CTWC cinematic universe, has finished in the top 4 this year in the CTWC World Championship and in the top 8 in 2023, and also took down the Northeast qualifier, first place in that. So that is the Dengler. DanV setting up the Vits. Has to block the well, though. And DanV on the right side with a 3.83 million PB. 18th on the leaderboard when I checked. Out of the United Kingdom, so united. Or the Great Britain, it's so great. It's great and united. Either way. And DanV does have a Masters event victory. That was in May 2023, a faster Masters event. And interestingly, DanV, even though having won a Masters event, has only one other time of having made even the semifinals in a Masters event, and that was back in February 2023. So DanV with a shot to make a semifinals again. 286 for DanV, 302 for Dengler. DanV also CTWC wise finished in the top 16 in 2022 and went out in the top 32 in 2021, 2023, and 2024. It's a lot of travel to finish in that top 32. Dan, also our intrepid YouTube editor and uploader for Classic Tetris Monthly. And we love him very much. 382 for Dan, 359 for Dengler. Tetris for DanV, 405. $7 contribution here on $7 Sunday from Jade Hart. Thank you very, very much. Oh, did DanV also win Paris? Is that right? All right. Well, let me update my little thing and I will make a note. So, yeah, I mean, my source for all this stuff is Liquipedia, and unfortunately, Liquipedia is not updated, so if it's not in there, I'm not going to remember. I don't even remember who won the green bracket last night. You think I'm going to remember Paris? I have to do all this in advance, right? So that's maybe a plug for Liquipedia. I think they are desperately in need of Liquipedia editors. People to update stuff here, so... it's a wiki, but called Liquipedia. So get in touch with, I don't know, Marfram, I guess. Game Scout knows a bit about it. 525 here for DanV, 521 for Dengler. but they definitely need help. So if you're somebody who wants to get involved with the classic Tetris community, maybe you're not in a position to help financially, but you can help with, you know, your time. That would be a great way to do it. They have I think they have a Discord server. If somebody knows the Discord server for the Tetris Liquipedia, that would be a good thing to do, because I rely on it. I like to try to have, you know, oh, nice adjustment for Dengler with that J to make room for that T. That was crazy. But you know, I do try to, it's just the Liquipedia Discord. Well, you can get over there and get in the Tetris channel. Anyway, I rely on it for information when I'm preparing for these broadcasts. 641 for DanV into 19. 620 for Dengler into 19. So big transitions here in game number 1 of this match between Dengler and DanV. I guess it's discord.com/invite/Liquipedia. Thank you, Stolen Short Sword. 718 for Dan here in level 20. 672 for Dengler. DanV ahead by about 2 Tetrises. Tetris is on 22, worth, what, 26,400? Thank you, R75. So anyway, get involved with that Liquipedia. That's like, I really do rely on that. And really, somebody should update my page. I have a page on there. There's there's nothing on there. I don't think, I think it's kind of gauche to update your own Liquipedia page. But like Chris Forrest has a novel, so I don't know. 910 for Dengler, 927 for DanV. Actually, you know, it's some players who don't who have played a master still don't have Liquipedia pages, like Cobra. Cobra does not have a page, and so you can't even look up like head-to-head matches or anything like that. 978 for Dengler, Tetris for DanV. He's got the max out. He's on level 26 now. Tetris Dengler, he's got a max out now. He's on 27. DanV gets a Tetris. He's got the B33. That is 1.1 million points. He's got potentially 3 more Tetrises if he goes without burns here before 29. It's tough to do, but there's one of them. He's got the 1.2. So both players cooking here. Dengler with the 1.15 as well. All right, DanV going to try to keep that well uncovered and get a well-timed long bar now. And long bar goes over, transitioning a little bit high. He's going to have to bring this down. Long bar goes in. That's a split triple. That's going to help DanV bring this down. So he's at C58 now on level 30. C18 for Dengler. So DanV ahead by about a Tetris. Tetrises on 29 are worth 36,000 points. So that gives you a sense of how close or far apart these players are. All right, Dengler trying to work this stack back down. DanV trying to work his down. So both players really in the same spot. Dengler's board starting to climb a little bit. DanV's got a lead by about 40,000 points now. Now Dan's board's starting to climb. Oh no, that J piece to the left. DanV got to work this out. No, that's going to be a top out for DanV. At C92 is the target for Dengler. So Dengler's got a low board. It's getting lower. He's got a target here, C92. So he's a Tetris worth of points away, less than that. And he can, he's got 50 lines to go, so he can just single and double this out. And he's just now 4,000 points away. 2,000. 1,000. And there it is. Dengler is going to go ahead and take game number 1. GG's. Dengler up 1 game to none. 3-1 Tetris. Do you fill in the spaced in letters with a pen for fun? Oh, the spaces and letters? I don't do that. No, I don't do that. Well, I mean, I can't say I've never done it, but I don't do that. But I am a doodler, you know? Titra says, I'll admit I love the smell of gasoline. Oh, yeah, I'm the same way. When I was a kid, I would go to that gas station with my mom, and I would just, oh, this smells so good. It's really crazy. It explains a lot. DanV with the spin tuck of the T. I love it. That was one of the few things that was, you know, like a cool thing to do that I did when I was a kid. I know I definitely did that T spin tuck when I was a kid. I remember having done it very clearly. But other than that, I was a disaster. I think my PB when I was a kid was like, I don't know, 270 or something. It wasn't very high. 185 from DanV, 183 from Dengler. Zelazawi, by the way, thanks for the tier 1 resub. Resubscribe for 6 months. At tier 1, 15 months overall. Thank you. Also, thank you, Sage, for the tier 1 resub. Appreciate that. $260 for DanV, 198 Dengler. DanV going to get a nice long bar to fill in the middle of his stack. Tetris DanV, 328 through 67, so players showing early signs of maybe another 600K transition. 294 Dengler. There's another Tetris DanV. All right, DanV just kind of like, oh, maybe that's going to be a spin tuck of some sort, and it was not. More Vandy life news. I did install a one of those shower heads that also has a handle on a a little hose thing. So that was a good thing to do this morning. Nice little Vits from DanV. There's nothing better than having like a nozzle, like a little spray nozzle on a hose in your shower. That's amazing. Costco has a good deal right now on those, so if you're a Costco fan and you want one, get it. 449 DanV, 408 Dengler. Vandy, do you know about Costcodal? No, is that like Wordle, but Costco? Oh, well, someone please fill me in. I got to know what that is. 475 for DanV. He's getting up a little bit high here. Good flat stack, though. But now kind of piled up high in columns 5 through 8. Gonna get a Tetris down and another one to bring it down. 525. 459 Dengler. DanV ahead by 10 lines. Every day they give you a Costco product and you guess the price. Ooh. I do go to Costco once a week. Oh no, Dengler in trouble here. This is going to take some concentration. Now he's got time to work it out. You know, still 15 lines to go until 19. Okay. Getting there. He's uncovered. All right, that is going to be good. Looks like he's going to get out of this. You don't want a commentator curse him, but it looks like he's just one piece away. There we go. And a long bar down for the Tetris, just in time for that 19 transition at 5:02. DanV 6:03. He's heading into 20 with a Tetris 6:28. So yeah, kind of a scary moment for Dengler, but he's still around. Tetris says top players just get the pieces, and it's mad annoying. Tetris DanV 705, 628 after a Tetris for Dengler. Oh, nice adjustment for Dengler to accommodate a little T-tuck there, and that's how you get after, you know, working for perfect max out. You just know all the little adjustments. That was pretty nifty. I have not seen that exact thing, but that was great. 738 for Dengler, 766 for DanV. Another Tetris, DanV 797, Dengler 795. So they're pretty darn close in score and lines. All right, Tetris Dengler 858, 863 DanV. And both players are going to Tetris again. They're on level 25. We're just about 40 lines away from that 29 transition. Pieces now falling about every 2/3 of a second, or they take 2/3 of a second to get from top to bottom. And on 29, it will take 1/3 of a second to get from top to bottom, which is just crazy. That's why clearing lines is, helpful, because you get that line clear delay. It gives you an extra moment to process. So when you can take a burn, that is like a helpful little thing. Max out here for Dengler and another Tetris. A53, 995 for DanV. There's a Tetris. He's got the max out on 27. The only thing you get from Costco is the hot dogs, Vandy. Who you kidding? Okay. It's comedy, peak comedy. A98 from DanV, B56 Dengler. Vandy, have you tried Nestris.org? I have. B81 for DanV, C27 for Dengler as we head into the 29 phase of the game. It's be 100 lines of this speed, and we have a level 39 double kill screen implemented at 39. So players are like less than a Tetris apart. Yeah, I'm more of a chicken bake guy, not a hot dog guy. All right, Dengler bringing it down. C76, DanV still about 25,000 points back. Line counts very similar. Tetris for Dengler, D17. Finally, DanV able to set up for a Tetris and get it, D08. Another Tetris, Dengler. DanV set up for one. There's a Tetris. He's got two dependencies. He's got two pieces to fit in there. Trying to get set up again. The square will do it. Trying to hang on for a bar. Board getting a little bit high here. And oh no, DanV's right side. How is he going to bring this down? He can't. And DanV going to top out at D54. Dengler still going, but he is already good. GG Dengler. Jimmy says, first time watching a live event. Greetings from Greece. Well, that's like, did you know there's a guy named Jimmy the Greek? You're Jimmy the Greek. All right, Dengler going for a rollover. There's a Tetris one away from the rollover. Rollover is 1.6 million. And that will be shown with a 0 as the leading digit. That means a 1.6. And seeing if he can get a 1.7. There's a double. And that's going to do it. Dengler at the 1.7, dunking on Dan a little bit. He's going to go up 2 games to none. Right now, DanV needs to win to continue. 3-1 Tetris. Are you carving pumpkins this year, Vandy? I don't know. That's a good question. We're going to carve. See, we live in an apartment. So if you carve a pumpkin, you're like putting a pumpkin out in an enclosed hallway. Like we have an enclosed hallway, you know, like it's inside. So I think it would start to smell a little bit inside. So it's not something we would do. In fact, we don't really get any trick-or-treaters. There are children in the building, but we also have a lot of weirdos in the building. So I don't think people are too keen on, you know, carting their kids around to the denizens of this particular apartment complex. So we might not even buy any candy. We've bought candy the last few years and had literally 0 trick-or-treaters. All right, DanV getting up a little bit high on this board. Going to uncover that right side well. Just going to try and take it down flat, burn, square. There we go. And long bar over Tetris. DanV out of danger and another Tetris. DanV at 121, Dengler at 140. You know, when we were in a house, you know, we would have a lot of kids. And I would also give out, like, you know, packs of baseball cards were an option. But kids don't know what baseball is now. $166 DanV, 166 Dengler, same score, 1 line apart. They do this thing in Seattle neighborhoods where businesses and department denizens just sit out on the main drag in lawn chairs and hand out candy. Oh yeah, what is that like? What is that, like a trunk or ween or something? Trunk or treat? $22.44 contribution to the prize pool from Uncle Ungie. By the way, yeah, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. Jade Hart with the $7 Sunday. And also Ben Jacobs had a contribution overnight, $20 into that prize pool. Thank you for... Now, trunk or treat sounds like a lot. That sounds like, all right, if you don't take a treat, we're going to put you in the trunk. I don't think that's a very good name for that phenomenon. Trunk or treat? Hilbert Space on $7 Sunday with the $77.77 into the prize pool. Thank you so much, Hilbert Space. Really appreciate that. That's going to get us up to $13.77.77. Yeah, so maybe I won't call it trunk or treat anymore. 354 for DanV, 375. Because obviously you're gonna opt for a treat, not to go in the trunk. Tetris Dengler, 399, 399 for DanV. So close in lines and score again. Tetris Dengler, 470, 430 for DanV. I don't think these players have faced each other in a CTM Masters event, but they did face each other in a Challengers circuit. That was the one thing I was able to dig up, and DanV won it 3-2. Back in last year, that was the month that DanV won the Challenger circuit. DanV has won a Hopefuls Futures, Challengers, and Masters event. One of the few people to have done that. 501 DanV, 561 Dengler. $6.19 for DanV into 19. $6.57 for Dengler. So some more big paces from these players. But DanV is up high on the board. There's a very welcome long bar and a very welcome LP. So DanV looks like he's out of danger. Here it is 19, so players are not as in danger as much as it looks to me. If I were up that high on 19, I'd be dead. Tetris Dengler 759, Dan 659, 100,000 point lead. All right, Tetris DanV 718. 816 for Dengler. Still about that 100,000 point lead for Dengler. Tetris Dan 753. There's one Dengler 848. A reminder that if you are an Amazon Prime member, you do get a Twitch Prime subscription to apply to the streamer of your choice every single month. So, use it or lose it. Keep us in the rotation. $5 Euro super chat from Kip Duran says, wow, $20 Matcherino contribution from a Kip Duran. What an amazing person. Thank you, Kip Duran, for your €5 super chat, your $20 contribution to the prize pool, which says these kids could use a good trunking these days. Okay, I'm not going to read that part. But Kip Duran says thinks these kids could use a good trunking. And Maitre Witien, thanks for the 777 into that prize pool. Both of those are going to get us to 1405. Max out for Dengler, looking for more. A27 for DanV. One more Tetris available, but would prefer to just bring this down. No, he's going to go for the dirty and gets it. And look at this. He's going to be able to access that gap pretty easily. BO2 from DanV. C25 from Dengler on level 29. Tetris for Dengler. So Dengler with about 150,000 point lead, and this is the decision you've got to make if you're DanV. Am I just going to go for it, and take risks, or am I going to hope that that Dengler tops out, or a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B? What am I going to do? It's a tough spot to be in. Dengler still Tetrising along. He's at D63. DanV at B77. Dengler another Tetris. He's got the E04 on 32. DanV with a Tetris C22. Dengler up 200,000 points. We got 60 lines to go to that 39 super kill screen. DanV going to complicate his board a little bit. Board starting to climb. Dengler open for a Tetris, has to take it down. DanV going to top out at C30. Really nothing he can do with that board. Dengler is good and will sweep out DanV. We'll watch Dengler mulling it out a little bit, look for another rollover, and he's got it on 35. This is a huge pace. Thank you for the $15.15 from Game Scout. That is gonna so wholesome, Game Scout. You're such a wholesome member of the community. That is gonna bring our prize pool up to 142069. Dengler has got the rollover. He's got the 1.7. He's hunting for a 1.8. There's a Tetris. He's got the 1.8 million. Is he going to set up here? He's going to get set up looking for a quick bar here. And there's a Tetris. He's got the 1.83. I'm not sure how much more he's going to be able to get. And there is a top out from Dengler. 1.8 million from Dengler to DanV's paltry 1.2 million. But no, thank you very much, guys. DanV, hope to see you here again. I promise I will switch the path for the recordings. All right, we're going to go ahead and set up for our next match. It's going to be Dog versus Cobra. Hey, everybody, this is your old pal, Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly, and I'm asking you to do me a favor. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. Join our Discord server, the largest classic Tetris community online, at ctm.gg/discord, and follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.